Buckeye game day. This is the Fan Pre-Game Show. Here's Chops and Rieser.
Happy Saturday, everyone. Week 2 of the college football season starts now-ish. As you heard, big voice guy, Chops, Rieser, Ryan Baker rolling along until 2 o'clock today. Then the pregame show, then the tailgate show, the network pregame with Paul, Skip, and Jim at 6 o'clock. The Boot will meet the ball at Ohio Stadium around 7:30-ish. Ohio State and Western Michigan. On our Lifestyle, Leisure, and Sports show, Chops, Bishop and Friends, which you can listen to weekdays 9 to noon. I think we picked the game.
Or wherever you get podcasts.
Or YouTube.
All these places.
If you hadn't heard, we're everywhere. I think it was a 38-point spread in favor of your Ohio State Buckeyes. I think it's down to like 37 or something like that.
Oh, so now you are in Cover City with your pick. Technically, if we retrofit it to that.
I have many gimmicks, and one of them is I pick Ohio State to win, but never to cover.
Yeah, it's his have his cake and eat it too pick. This game is going to be a tougher test than Akron, but I'm not sure where Wisconsin is, so I'm not just going to jump to, well, they gave Wisconsin a bit more of a test, so they're for sure going to be tougher. They are on paper more talented. They've been better over the last few years, which wasn't very hard, than Akron. I do think this Akron team is probably improved this season. We'll see. They're playing Rutgers right now, play 1 about to go. But yeah, the Buckeyes rolling in for game 2. I thought game 1 maybe took a little bit while to get going. I think everybody could agree with that. But by the time it got rolling, it was good. And I'm excited for game 2. And I don't have anything where I'm like, oh, I'm worried that this is going to come bite them or anything like that. And that's where we're at this first month of the season, as we talked about many times.
And the good thing with week 2 is you get comparables, right? So unfortunately for nobody, I think at this point, because with Ohio State and Western Michigan, since you can hear it on the fan, you don't need ESPN. The big game of the week, Texas at Michigan, that's on Fox. You don't need ESPN for that. And then we're watching Rutgers and Akron on the Big Ten Network. You've also got Penn State playing Bowling Green on the Big Ten Network. So for you DirecTVers out there, you're sitting there going, where the hell's my ESPN? Well, you don't necessarily need it today. Now, later on in the season, that could become an issue for you. But with week 2, you get comparables. So you talked about the Scarlet Knights and the Zips. Somehow, Ben Finley is the slated starter for Akron, despite, I think, being dead last week. And kind of it was Joe Moorhead must have. Can a quarterback wear issue.
2 flak jackets in a game?
I don't know. Can he run around? You remember, did you ever do this as a student at Ohio State you were always broadcasting games, but they always at halftime would have students, and they probably still do it, have students run around in those inflatable balls.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then Brutus comes and attacks them. They put Ben Finley in that. Maybe he'd have a chance against this. A Rutgers team that you think is improved. It was like with Indiana yesterday, and you watched them demolish Directional Illinois.
Who is that team, by the way?
They're better, but you don't know until you get some comparables. So that's why I'm glad that Rutgers is playing Akron. For the Zips, they get probably $1 million to go and lose to this team that maybe, because I had said after week 1, when the Big Ten went 17-1, I feel much better now than I did weeks ago about the Big Ten potentially putting in 4 teams to the college football playoff.
Yeah, it looks really good.
I think the conference is really good.
I think Ohio State looks like they're going to be in position for that. Oregon, it was a little shaky as far as getting it into the end zone, but the offense looks like it's definitely going to be able to move the ball, and I think they'll be able to figure those out. I was really impressed with Penn State, who has been the popular team that everybody has circled as like they are benefiting the most from going away from divisions and getting to the 12-team playoff. And through week 1, they beat West Virginia. It wasn't just they took care of business, beat down on like Indiana last night at Western Illinois. No, they beat West Virginia. And Drew Aller, I think under Kotelnicki, the new offensive coordinator there, is going to flourish a little bit more this year. He's very efficient with the ball, only 2 interceptions last year. So I think Drew Aller is going to have a career year, which will be a new thing. We'll see. Because James Franklin, generally, his quarterbacks haven't
He's
quite
never
gotten
been good
much
with
better.
quarterbacks.
So that's 3. And then that kind of leaves, I think, Michigan, Iowa, and USC to fight for that 4th spot. And I think they're all going to be in it at certain points during the season. Michigan, especially if they win today, then they're going to be in a real driver's seat for it. But they can obviously survive this loss. I think defending national champion Michigan could probably still get in with 2 losses if they have other impressive things on their resume.
And Michigan, has been talked throughout the offseason. They got a pretty tough row to hoe. And if they're able, close in a loss today against Texas, which are we all horns up for this?
Horns
Do we
level?
Are we sitting here saying at the big house right now, as those idiots run and touch that stupid banner, if they do horns down, we're okay with Big Ten officials giving the Wolverines a 15-yard penalty?
No, I am wholly against flagging horns down. If they can do horns up, opponents can do horns down, regardless of who the opponent is.
Because if the opponent has that stupid wing on their helmet, I am for flagging horns down just for today.
Well, if it's Big Ten refs, anything is possible.
Yeah,
so
right.
I'm sure it could happen.
If you thumbs down, the Big Ten refs are dumb enough to be like, that's unsportsmanlike. 15 yards.
Have you ever seen that post online? Somebody's like, I cut somebody off in traffic and then they passed me a mile down the road. And they didn't flick me off or anything. They just gave me a thumbs down, which somehow felt worse.
I think it is, actually, because we're so desensitized to getting flicked off or getting told to bleep off.
You're ready to be angry, and then if they just...
We throw genuine disappointment their way, I know that would hit me harder.
Just shake your head at somebody.
Because then, you feel bad. So, look, we've got so much college football to go on today. We'll have some NFL discussion as week one kicked off Thursday night. You saw last night in Sao Paulo, Brazil. It was a slip and slide all over the place.
I kept forgetting it was Brazil. It looked more like an American football stadium than when they're over in London. I don't know. There's something that looks so soccer-y to me when they're in London, but this didn't have that feel to me. But then they would show the crowd, and there was a fair amount of Eagles and Packers for sure, but there was also that peppering of just random fans. So a guy in a Bills sweatshirt, sure, why not?
So you're drinking from a fire hose today if you're a college football fan. I know that, when you have a significant other in your life, hopefully you've told them, you've given them a hug, you've kissed them on the cheek, and you said, I will see you in January, dear, because this is it. We get 2 days off of football of any kind now.
For now.
Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and then for those of you who are true sickos out there or fans of Maction, once that comes back into your life, I haven't told my girlfriend, who isn't the biggest football fan, had not watched much football before meeting me. Mm-hmm. I haven't told her about Maction yet. And so she was very concerned last night where I was like, well, there's an NFL game on. She's like, I thought it was just Sundays and Thursdays. And I'm like, well, it's also now Mondays. And sometimes Fridays.
Have you seen the Jimmy Fallon movie Fever Pitch?
No.
So in that, he's a big Red Sox fan. And he meets this girl during the winter. And then they go through it, and then spring training's coming up, and he has to explain to her, it's Drew Barrymore, he has to explain to her that, yeah, we go down to spring training, and she's like, and they listen to you? And she's like, no. And so that's what it is. It's like, wow, you sit there and you watch all this football, and then you talk about it, and they listen to you? No. I just put it out there for people to listen to.
If you are interested, if we annoy you too much, you've got Texas and Michigan over at ESPN Columbus. That's 1460 on the AM dial, the Fans HD2. It'll be Quinn Ewers against a two-quarterback system that Sharon Moore's still going to go with today. I know I saw the guys on the Big Noon Kick talking about it, and you had Urban saying, when he had Chris Leak and Tim Tebow, that he didn't really care about the two-quarterback system so much as Chris Leak and Tim Tebow were two of the 11 best football players he had on his roster, and so he needed to make sure that those guys played. And then you had Matt Leinart, who was a quarterback, obviously, and said, well, I hated it. And it's like, well, of course you hated it, because as a quarterback, you want the football at any given moment. And I do feel with a Texas team that we all think is exponentially more talented than Michigan, considering what the Wolverines have lost over the past couple of seasons, that Michigan's going to try to throw as much stuff against the wall to see what sticks. And if that's Davis Warren for most of it, or if that's Alex Orji because of his running ability, you go with the hot hand here so much as I've got this. If you're Sharon Moore, and we're all rooting against them, horns up as far as you can go with this. You're not scripting an opening drive. You're saying to yourself, whatever works.
Yes.
Go.
I can't remember if we talked about this on the Bishop and Friends this week, but the idea of Alex Orji is being, you mentioned how he's like the Tim Tebow guy, but it's also sort of like the opposite of the Joe Milton effect, which we saw at Michigan and then at Tennessee, and it almost happened in New England this training camp. But a guy has an extra super ability that most players don't have. And Alex Orji, for Joe Milton, it was his arm. He could throw the ball 80 yards, apparently. For Alex Orji, it's this great athlete who can really run, but it sounds like they do not trust his passing at all. He came in for about 5 plays last year when J.J. McCarthy was dealing with an injury against Ohio State. He did not attempt a pass in that time, so I think they're really uncertain about that, and so they're going with Davis Warren, but Davis Warren seems to me like more of a low floor, low ceiling. He's just kind of, this is the guy who he is, where Alex Orji can give you those high ceiling athletic plays, but is his throwing floor high enough? And I think that's what they're dealing with right now. And against Texas, I guess they have to figure out, are they going to need to pass or can they win it with the run game? Something we know Sharon Moore is comfortable with. That's what they did when they beat Penn State last year when he was interim.
Speaking of Penn State, the Nittany Lions trail the Bowling Green Falcons 7-0 with about 12 minutes and change from the first quarter in Happy Valley. That's a Big Ten networker.
James Franklin making me look stupid. I just said they were looking good.
Here's the thing. Bowling Green took 6 plays and 75 yards to score their first touchdown. And we all thought going into the season, well, it's the defense that Penn State's going to have to lean on. And then you hope week by week, Drew Aller and this Andy Kotelnicki revamped offense can find their stride. And last week against West Virginia, it looked great on both sides of the ball for the Nittany Lions. It's a sluggish start, but do we not think that a lot of teams in the Big Ten this week are going to run into sluggish starts?
I could see that as a possibility, just a little bit of a letdown because except for Michigan, you're not dealing with a ton of marquee matchups for any of the teams. There's really nothing else to write home. Iowa State obviously will get them up. That's a rivalry game. So there you've got one that's going to have a little bit of fire. And then Nebraska, Colorado. So I think those 3 teams, Michigan, Nebraska, Iowa, they are ready for week 2. But I think you could be right, especially, the league was riding pretty high after last week. They went 17-1. The only loss was Minnesota on a last-second field goal that they missed to North Carolina. So that's not a bad loss by any means. And so the conference riding really high, especially like the USC win over LSU. I mentioned the Penn State win over West Virginia. I think that this week, just overall though, for outside of the Big Ten, outside of players, into fandom type people, I think it's all going to be just a little drawn back this week because it's also not, if your college football is your sport of choice, it's not all weekend. It's just Saturday this time. There's not a Sunday night game. There's not a Monday night game. The NFL is here.
And I'm just trying to figure out with Bowling Green, Connor Bazelak is their quarterback. Did I pronounce that correctly, Baker?
You did. He is a Kettering Alter kid.
6th-year guy, did stints at Missouri, Indiana, and this is his 2nd year at Bowling Green.
He's a player.
Dude can sling it and is, a quarterback that has been everywhere, been in every situation. And Ohio State's dealing with something similar with Will Howard. And it was a bit of a slow start for him last week. And I don't know if slow is the right word because, as I've said previously, if Jeremiah Smith doesn't drop that ball on 2nd down, this is a 70-0 beating of Akron because you're able to just keep with the pace. Or at least that's where I think it would have gone. But they needed a little bit more time to kind of get their legs under them. And this is Ohio State's total offense. And as Will Howard put it, now it's business as usual. Buckeyes got some more good news this morning in advance of the 7:30 kick with Western Michigan. We'll tell you who's available for the Scarlet and Gray next. It's Sports Saturday on The Fan.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well-loved. And well, we smell a little, but you've accepted that. The Fan.
This September, Diamonds Direct's ultimate offer is back, stronger than ever. Diamonds Direct helps you get the perfect jewelry gift with 0% interest. That's right. Enjoy 5 years of 0% financing on any Diamonds Direct purchase. It's your chance to get her the perfect ring with 0 interest and comfortable monthly payments that fit your budget. But act fast. This offer ends September 30th. For details and more, visit diamondsdirect.com. Spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest on approved credit. Only at Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Hey friends, Brandon Beam here for Truehold. Home values in the city, well, they're sky high. We know that. You have a ton of equity. Your financial advisor thinks the market is peaked. So if you're thinking about selling, it's the right time. Except for 2 things. High interest rates are going to burn you on a new home loan, and you're not ready to move. Savvy financial advisors suggest Truehold's new Sell and Stay program. It's ingenious because they buy your home now while its value is high, but you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Pretty smart, right? Truehold is going to make you a solid cash offer, not a lowball offer like the others, and it's based on your home's current value. The cash is yours to travel, pay off bills, secure your retirement, and do whatever you want with it. It's your cash. And again, you can stay in your home with a comfortable lease. Truehold covers property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. See how much Truehold will pay for your home today. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. Again, that's Truehold.com.
Your car needs a new battery. That'll be $19,000.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a second opinion.
You wouldn't accept that quote, so why accept this one from that other company?
$19,000 for a new sewer line.
I'm going to call the waterworks instead.
Facing an expensive sewer repair? If another company's quote is way more than expected, call the Waterworks for a second opinion. We have the most experienced drain techs in Central Ohio. Call 614-232-2222.
Hey, it's Anthony here, and over the years, I've tried to stay in the fight, keep playing, but every now and then, something gets me, shoulder pain, a knee tweak, a recent bout of golfer's elbow. When the weekend warrior injuries happen, the first call I make is to the specialists at Orthopedic One. I don't mess around. I want the #1 ranked place for orthopedics in Ohio. They've earned the right to be called Central Ohio's most trusted team of orthopedic experts. Get started at orthopedic1.com. No referral needed, but if you want one, I got you.
Guess what? Our ugly faces are on YouTube. Search 971 The Fan and watch all your favorite shows. Laptop, phone, tablet, smart TV, we're everywhere. Bring us in the bedroom with you. Yes, The Fan.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career and they talked to me about it.
He was done in just months.
I did do it online.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at My Computer Career.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Save big money on everything for your next painting project at Menards. Dutch Boy DuraClean Exterior Paint is a paint and primer in one that's available in thousands of color options. It's formulated to resist dirt, mildew, and fading. Save big on Dutch Boy Exterior Paints at Menards, America's #1 home improvement retailer for customer satisfaction, according to J.D. Power. Visit jdpower.com for details and menards.com for deals.
Save big money at Menards. Common Man here for Care Heating and Cooling. Weather is unpredictable, but the inside of your home should be comfortable just the way you like it. And the best way to avoid those unnecessary surprises is with a care plan. See, with a care plan, you get priority service, system maintenance in case of an emergency. Just another way to give you and your family peace of mind. And maintaining your systems properly can help save you money. A properly maintained furnace and air conditioner run more efficiently, reducing your utility usage. Regular maintenance also prevents breakdowns and extends the life of your equipment. I'm on the care plan, and I'm quite the expert. I'll stop by and give your system a once-over. I will. Don't tempt me. I end every commercial the same way, telling you to hire Care when you need a company you can trust. It's not just the slogan. That's the Care creed. How about this? Lennox. They have thousands of dealers nationwide. HVAC royalty. Last year, Lennox gave Care their coveted Partner of the Year award because they're trusted by their customers and their partners. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING or book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com when you need a company you can trust.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Cool and comfortable this Saturday afternoon with sunshine and highs near 70. Overnight, mostly clear and chilly. Lows near 40 and even a few upper 30s possible in rural areas. On Sunday, mostly sunny, highs in the mid-70s. And then low 80s again on Monday with more sunshine. I'm meteorologist Mike Joyce on 97.1 The Fan.
Just because it's the weekend doesn't mean we shut up. This is Fan Sports Saturday.
Yeah, and this one has Chops, Rieser, and Baker in it. Last one had Tito, Austin Ward, and Jacob Reimer. Coming up after us at 2 o'clock, you'll get Matty Ice, DeVere Posey, and Dane Sanzenbacher. They'll be live on Lane Avenue, on location, the Ozone on campus. There's like a big shipping container that they'll be doing the show out of. That'll be from 2 to 4, then 4 to 6 outside of St. John Arena. You cannot miss the stage. Anthony Rothman, Tim May, Andy Katzenmoyer for the pregame show. Skip Mossick, Paul Keels, Jim Lachey, and Clay Hall hit the air at about 6 o'clock for, actually not about, right at 6 o'clock. Or I think Skip Mossick comes and beheads Ted Holbrook.
Yes, it better be right on time.
If you are not all right on time, Teddy, unfortunately, you will be too hot because you will be in hell.
I think it is all set up, actually, usually with, the peek behind the curtain. We have things called branches that automatically do things. I think the football is set up so if like Rothman was going late, the football playlist just starts.
It's the old Jim Rome National out.
Yes.
He's not done talking. It doesn't matter.
It's over.
In Rothman's playlist, there is a branch that starts Ohio State music, so it's happening whether he likes it or
not. Play Rothman out. Texas just went up 6-0 over Michigan. There's actually that could be coming back with the flag. But Penn State saw Bowling Green march down the field, 6 plays, 75 yards, and take a 7-0 lead on the Nittany Lions. And then Drew Aller engineered a 6-play, 75-yard drive of his own. That game's tied, 10 minutes and change left in the first quarter from somewhat happier Valley, and Akron's in the red zone.
Yeah.
Birthplace of college football. Still scoreless there in Piscataway.
And
5
Ben
and change.
Finley is alive.
He's alive.
There he is in the shotgun formation.
Almost coaching malpractice, I thought, by Joe Moorhead late in that game.
And he gets a delay game.
Well, look.
He can't do everything.
Concussed. He's got a shoulder issue. Like, he had to clear protocol. He could deal with a rib injury, but there he is. And Joe Moorhead wearing that same sweatshirt that he had last week. I hope he got it laundered, but that's the 3 games we're keeping you abreast on. We don't have ESPN here because we got DirecTV, so you'll get no updates from any of those games. We're just not going to do it. Baker might at the top of the hour, but
there's nothing
if
that
you want to,
great going on.
No, the slate's kind of bad.
Oklahoma
right now.
State, Arkansas would be the only one that I'd be like, oh, yeah, I'd throw that on. I don't even know if we get ACC Network normally, but Georgia Tech and Syracuse are playing if you're interested in Kyle McCord.
We do have Oklahoma State, Arkansas because it's on ABC.
Oh, so that still comes through.
Yes,
okay, good to know.
That, but because I have that on in here. Rieser, you're a streamer. I figured you'd have concocted something to have all this up.
Well, I can't do it
comment.
here. So 1, no comment. But 2, if you were to have places to go to get things that aren't available normally, it does take a lot of bandwidth. And I'm not trying to stuff it up for everybody here. Also, there's a firewall.
That's
if I were to do something like that, I couldn't get around the firewall, or somebody couldn't get around the firewall.
If somebody may have tried to bring their box in before and do that in here, I couldn't get connected to the Wi-Fi.
You couldn't
through
connect
it anyway.
up.
So,
no,
yeah.
unfortunately. In the totally hypothetical situation, you would not be able to do that.
I think in the hypothetical situation, though, we would probably be trying a lot harder to figure out if it was Big Noon Kickoff that wasn't available to us at the moment.
That's true.
Because I definitely want to watch the Michigan-Texas game.
But I don't need to watch the Big Noon Kickoff, that 3-hour debacle.
It is not a 3-hour-long show. It is definitely a 2-hour-long show, and I don't think because they did this as a special one because they were going up against game day both in Ann Arbor and maybe trying to capitalize on the fact that there's a pretty large amount of the population that doesn't have access to ESPN right now. Okay, sure. But you have to add another hour of programming. They just kind of took their normal 2 hours and just stretched it. And then they even go over. They always do that at Big Noon because they want you to come over from the picks of College Game Day
for Gus and Joel.
Yeah, so then they go over like 5 minutes, and then the game eventually starts. So Big Noon Kickoff doesn't even start at noon.
So it is still scoreless between Texas and Michigan. Looks like Bert Auburn missed a 43-yard field goal after that touchdown play was called back for a hold on a Texas player. So a good stop and a good stand by the Michigan defense that is something the Wolverines are going to have to rely on if they want to actually make this a game, and it looks to be the case. About 8 and change left to go, first quarter from the Big House. But the game we are all paying attention to tonight, 7:30, Ohio State, Western Michigan. Second time in history that these two teams have met on a football field. First one was a 38-12 Ohio State win back in 2015. Urban Meyer was the coach of the Buckeyes.
I remember that game.
PJ Fleck, the head coach of the Western Michigan Broncos there. What of that game stands out to you on this day, September 7th, 2024?
Nothing stands out to me. I would have guessed that we would have played them more often in the history, but
there's enough Michigans.
I do remember there being a Western Michigan, during that time. So I did not know who PJ Fleck was there. And at that point, they probably would have, whoever was doing the television stuff would have marketed something about PJ Fleck because he has those ties to Ohio State in his early coaching career as well. Have you ever seen the old pictures of PJ when he had the frosted tips? Back in the early
time. No,
it's
I
great.
assumed he was bald.
No, there's this picture of when he was a student teacher first out of college, and he's got these frosted tips and this nice little sweater. It's a great little getup, but no, nothing stands out about that Western Michigan game. And honestly, tonight, will anything stand out about this? I feel like if it were the first game, Jeremiah Smith had 3 touchdowns against Akron. Yep. I think we're going to remember that. Jeremiah Smith dropped the first pass thrown his way, and I guess he only had 2 touchdowns. The third touchdown was James Peoples right after he caught it at the 1-yard line, but kind of felt like 3.
Jeremiah set that up.
But I'm going to remember that. If you go, what do you remember about the last Akron game whenever they play Akron again? I think I'll remember that. This game, we'll see, but I just don't think there's going to be something that comes out that's memorable, and that's okay because the Western Michigan game doesn't need to be.
Not terribly memorable. Like, it would help, a 37.5-point spread. If the Buckeyes could cover that, then you'd feel, I think, maybe a little better if you put some soft-earned dollars on this contest. Ohio State got some, I guess, Ohio State gave some news this morning. I think they've had these two available. They had them available last week. Donovan Jackson, Cody Simon. They could have played against, they could have played week 1 had it been a game against Texas.
They went through full pregame warmups, both of them. That was the reports.
And both players out with undisclosed injuries, likely to do the same thing tonight. They are available for the game against Western Michigan. It'll be a game time decision. So it does feel that if this was a more important matchup, not to say that it's not important, but if it were more, you'd have them. You don't need them. So I think you see how they look in warmups, and then you kind of, because last week there was a lot to like about the offensive front without, I think, your true linchpin in Donovan Jackson, and there was a lot to like from your linebackers with C.J. Hicks, with Sonny Styles. There's, from my personal standpoint, I want to see more. I want to see improvement from both of those units. I'm kind of interested to see what they would look like without both of them again. Also understanding that those two, I think, want to hit somebody else. I know Cody Simon wants to hit somebody else. I'm pretty sure Donovan Jackson wants to do the same. I think it would be beneficial to them to get that out of their system against Western Michigan, because then you have a bye week.
Yeah, I would hope they can get out on the field, and then if you're still worried about them or overusing them, put them on a pitch count, put them on a play count. I was
just about to say,
and figure it out from there.
Count. Right.
Yeah, and then those guys get some work, like you said, get those butterflies out, but you also get to work in those guys and the guys behind them, because they talked all offseason about this could be a 16, 17 game schedule. We're going to need their depth. I do also think that, not that this is strategic, but I think it is them actually moving forward and doing actions that follow those words, that they're saying, we are showing our star players. I mean, Donovan Jackson is the best offensive lineman on the team. Cody Simon is the returning starter at linebacker and, the leader of that group. I think they are trying to put it out there, too, that's saying, like, we are taking this seriously, that if you were just a little nicked up and it's not Michigan or Georgia in a college football playoff or something, we might hold you out just out of precaution because we want you healthy for those games. And these two players, I think, old, mature guys, but probably helps it when it does come down to a different player this year, maybe a skill position guy who isn't as, is a little more apprehensive to the idea that could possibly happen. And I think they've set it up this way that, like, well, if those guys are being held out, this isn't anything personal. This is actually the strategy of the year.
You're going to get what's called, for me, the unavailability report about 2 hours before tonight's 7:30 kick at the Horseshoe. So those two guys will likely be off of it, but it remains to be seen. They will be dressed. They will be going through warm-ups. But Donovan Jackson, Cody Simon, game-time decisions there. Will Howard shook off some rust, I think, with not just Will, but the other guys on Ohio State's offense and even Ohio State's defense that had never gone through everything that goes into an Ohio State home game. Were able to experience that, able to move past that, and now it's strictly football. You'll hear from the mastermind of Ohio State's offense, Chip Kelly, next. It's Sports Saturday on The Fan.
If you're starting your day any other way, you're doing it wrong. Morning Juice with Bobby and Beamer.
Weekdays starting at 6.
The Fan.
And what is it called?
A ceiling fan.
And where is it?
It's on the floor.
And why is that a problem?
Well, see, the person who named it probably should have called it a floor. No, that's not right. The guy on TV I saw put up a ceiling fan.
Are you a TV star, Paul?
No, I'm not.
Are you an electrician, Paul?
I am not.
You are?
I am a middle management accountant, and I shouldn't be putting up ceiling fans.
You should.
Call the pros who knows.
Apex Pros.
The pros who know electrical work, too. Hi, it's Alex from Apex Pros. And if you'd like us for plumbing, cooling, and heating, you're gonna love our pro electricians.
Apex Pros are on the way.
Much easier, isn't it?
I'm glad we sorted this out.
Me too.
Columbus loves the pros who knows. Schedule with one click at apexpros.com.
Whether you're a seasoned pro or a new golfer, think beyond the green and head over to X Golf Columbus and X Golf Powell. Come experience the most advanced and accurate golf simulators in the world at X Golf. A fun venue with great food, excellent service, and a full bar. You can play around on one of our 50 courses, take a lesson from our PGA Pro, hit the driving range, join a league, or just sit back and sip a beer on the outdoor patio. Book your tee time today at playxgolf.com. X Golf Columbus and X Golf Powell, the home of indoor golf.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
There's nothing like having Common Man and T-Bone resting on your bosom.
Oh, for someone with no breasts, you've done very well for yourself.
Gross. Pick up the latest T-shirt in the fan store or pick up merch from a show you actually like. We even have Ohio State and jacket stuff. Head to 971thefan.com.
There's a place where mishaps don't mean missing out. Welcome to AAA's The Plus Side, where a AAA Plus membership means that an empty gas tank won't keep you from a full day. Where a flat tire doesn't have to deflate your mood. Where being locked out doesn't mean you'll be out of luck for long. And where a dead battery can't stop you from being the life of the party.
Looks like you're all set here. Have a good rest of the day.
Because on the plus side, roadside mishaps don't have to ruin your day. With AAA Plus, you're covered with the gold standard in roadside assistance, whenever and wherever you need it. Tire changes, battery swaps, and emergency fuel are just a tap, click, or call away. AAA gets to you faster, and if you need a tow, we'll take you further, anywhere within 100 miles. Become a AAA Plus member today and experience the peace of mind that comes when you live on the plus side. Towing is subject to a 7-day waiting period. Terms and conditions apply. Service is only available from AAA and CAA in North America.
Taking out the trash. That's what we're all about at Bourne Brothers Waste Services. This is Justin Bourne,
Zach Bourne, and Jacoby Bourne, former Ohio State football players.
We are your company for all of your trash and recycling needs.
Providing services that include front-load containers, mini and large roll-offs, and compactors. Contact us today for the best service in town. Bourne Brothers.
Bourne Brothers,
the real local trash company.
Taking out the trash.
Picture this, the perfect summer barbecue. No stress, no responsibilities, just all your friends, burgers and hot dogs on the grill, and a delicious, refreshing Pepsi Zero Sugar in your hand. Sounds nice, doesn't it? Burgers sizzling, hot dogs cooking, Pepsi Zero Sugar fizzing, and a backyard of very, very happy people. Oh yeah, we could get used to this. Very, very used to this. Pepsi, the official beverage of Grills Night Out.
Meet Abdullah Mahmood, problem gambling counselor at Maryhaven.
More and more people are falling into problem gambling. It can happen so quickly that you don't realize it until you face a crisis. Gambling issues often connect to depression, anxiety, or other addictions. Maryhaven's experts offer comprehensive care. You and your loved ones can count on mental, emotional, and financial guidance.
Confidential and judgment-free. Go to maryhaven.com today.
Instead of annoying national people talking to you this weekend, we've opted for annoying local people. This is Fan Sports Saturday.
It's college football season. You're getting annoying national people. It's an Ohio State game day. You're getting the most annoying local people before we hand it off to professionals starting at 2 o'clock.
Most annoying?
I would say so. This 4-hour block, you got Tito and Austin Ward. I'm going to excuse Austin Ward from that. But you got Tito, and then you got me and you and Baker. Like, on the scale of an annoying fan talent, we're there.
Yeah.
Which we're okay with. Again.
Well, I don't want to say any other names and insult
I'm
anybody.
not saying any other names. No names, please, after that. But if you're annoyed with us, Texas and Michigan are scoreless. You can find them over on ESPN Columbus. That's 1460 and the Fans HD2.
Texas has had a touchdown called back from a holding penalty and then missed the subsequent field goal. So, yeah, remains locked at a Bengals stalemate.
Bowling Green's got a 10-7 lead over Penn State. The Falcons kicked a field goal, electing to kick a field goal on Penn State's 15. It was 4th and 1. Coaching scared, huh? But no, if you're Bowling Green, you take the points when you can. You might need those later.
Well, and I like the idea of taking the lead. I understand what people are saying, but it's so early that even if you get it, what if they stop you again and then you just end up kicking the field goal anyways? Was it worth it? Texas just scored a touchdown, by the way, so they're up 6-0 pending the extra point against Michigan. But I've never fully bought into the whole idea that it's always cowardly to not go for it, especially when you're getting points. Now, if you are at the 35 or the 38 and it's 4th and 1 and you're in a game against an opponent that is a huge favorite against you and you punt it on 4th and 1, the cowardly punt I can get behind because, you're just giving up a chance for your team. But if you go out there and still get points, they take a lead. Even if Penn State scores a touchdown, you're in position to take the lead again with a touchdown. I get it early in the first quarter. Sometimes getting points on the board is the most important thing because if you go through a whole schedule, Bo talks about this all the time, the analytics of going through an entire drive and getting all the way down into the red zone or into scoring position, and then you come away with nothing because you get stopped on 4th down. That's really demoralizing for a team that needs the extra motivation because that's, the talent difference being so different against Penn State. They're going to need that extra bit to go for it.
Yeah, Quinn Ewers just found Gunnar Helm 21 yards for a touchdown in the Big House, and Ewers used his feet, and boy, we're half an hour into week 2. Well, half hour into the Saturday of week 2. That's probably the play of the day, the touchdown throw and the evading Michigan's front 7 to connect with Helm in the back of the end zone. Again, now the Longhorns have a 7-0 lead on the Wolverines. You got about 4 minutes left to go from the Big House, like you just said. For Ohio State, I think the one thing I've heard from Buckeye fans this entire week, post 52-6 win over Akron, was the offensive line could be better. Is you had thought and you had hoped adding Seth McLaughlin, having the depth that Ohio State has, that this would be a slob front that would be mean and aggressive. And it showed itself in times against Akron, but they didn't dominate like you wanted them to against a lesser MAC foe. You hope that's going to be the case today against Western Michigan because it's something you're going to need in future games this season.
And Western Michigan, their front on both sides of the ball is going to be their strength in this one. So their front 7 on defense is who this offensive line is going to be going up against. So, okay, we can put good against good. We understand the difference between these teams, but if this is their strength, that's good. That's a good chance for them to work out. I do think the run blocking looked better from game 1 than it did last year. Obviously missing Donovan Jackson, but it still left some to be desired. The running game, Travion had a few where he got away for 8 to 11 yards, but nobody had these just gaping holes. Quinshawn had kind of a slow game in there. James Peoples did a little bit later in the game, but I think the run blocking can improve. I'm interested to see where actually is the pass blocking because we got to see Will Howard scramble a little bit, but how much is he going to be under pressure? How often is he going to have to use this? But I think with especially the experience on the left side, this line should be better than it was last year, but it is still figuring it out and learning to improve with this starting 5 across the board that except for really Donovan Jackson and Simmons on the left tackle, they're replacing the other side, all 3, the center, the guard, and the tackle.
Yeah, and to the run blocking, we'll speak to this first, where last week you had 33 attempts. Travion had 8 carries, Quinshawn 13, James Peoples 6, Will Howard had 4. I'm interested to see, or I would be interested to know if the coaching staff this early in the season is telling Will, if you see it and we need it, take it. But if you see it and we don't need it, don't worry about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think we saw that in Will Howard's game. I was saying that throughout the week that it was the variance in decision when he decided to scramble. Sometimes he'd be scrambling and running around, keeping his eyes downfield and try to get the pass. Sometimes he'd slide or run to the sideline, I think is more of what we saw. And sometimes he'll take off. And that's what you need out of a scrambler because that is truly when people talk about keeping the defense honest. That's how you keep them honest by saying, you don't know what the quarterback is doing because he's capable of all of these things.
So dangerous. Sam Williams-Dixon had also a carry last week against Akron for, again, 33 total attempts. Chip Kelly says he would like more.
43 and 40 would be better. But I don't think we're going to get that many snaps in a game. So Carlos does a great job, Carlos Lachlan, our running back coach, of just keeping those guys fresh and who's in and who's out. And so there wasn't a set plan, but, hopefully we run the ball a little bit more. And those numbers are up for both of those guys.
I want to see Quinshawn more. And I know you're saying 13 carries in week 1. That's probably good for the first couple of weeks in terms of a pitch count or a carry count. but I just want I want more from him.
I wonder if they'll flip up who gets the first possession in any of these games. And I don't know if that's going to be opponent specific or not, but they've kind of done that whole 1A, 1B thing the entire year. Travion started last week, but it wouldn't upset me to see Quinshon in there first.
My question is, when are they going to start them both at the same time?
Put them both out there. Yeah, everybody's waiting for the wing tee.
Throw everyone off.
I mean, these games do feel like, and with Marshall in 2 weeks, you might see something like that, because not only does it give them the opportunity to see what it would look like, it also tells everybody in the conference, we have this, we can use it.
Yeah,
it's like the Death Star staring at you in the face. Like, we could.
It's
fire the laser.
Double-edged sword of like, oh, you don't want to reveal your whole playbook. And it's like, yeah, but what you do reveal, then everybody has to prepare for it. So if you still keep some things in your back pocket, you can just make teams more nervous by, oh, they can do that now too. And with the personnel Ohio State has, they can do anything you can dream up in an offensive playbook. I don't see any type of offense that they really would be incapable of running. So they, like, with putting 2 running backs out there, that's something that is totally within their wheelhouse this year.
Tell you what, I made a bold prediction this week that Brandon Innes is going to have a punt return touchdown in this game. I also think you're going to see Caleb Downs in at running back tonight. I'll make that bold prediction right now at about 1:45. I think you'll see him in there. Does he get a carry? I'm not ready to go that far, but this conversation brought that to light, right? Where we're thinking, what's Ohio State going to put out there so that everybody else around the country takes notice? It's a primetime game. This is an Ohio State team that has so much talent that we've talked about forever that people are going to want to tune in and watch this. The Big Ten Network, everybody's got that thing.
It's not as distracting of a day as week 1 was.
What are they going to want to show? Just to be like, we could do it.
Another interesting aspect of that, you got to feed everybody. All these star players, they want to do something. And it's always been a problem with defensive backs as far as stat accumulation, because in the NFL, we usually can figure out, well, that guy's just a dude. We get it, because they're always going up against great receivers. And I'm talking more about cornerback. You got Caleb Downs at safety. Well, he's got so many good players in front of him, and he is capable of making so many great plays. But he wasn't really asked to against Akron, and he might not be asked to again against Western Michigan. And is he getting his form of eating? Well, if you give him a few carries, that might work. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud, but there is this really weird balancing act that is it's below the football. Winning the game is always going to be the most important thing. But with the way college football is, with the transfer portal and NIL and all this stuff, that balancing act is really difficult for coaches. But that's what the money's for.
I am interested to see. I have to do this. So, as you know, now we're on YouTube, and Brendan chimes in. Chops, your eyes are amazing. Holy crap. I can barely pay attention to anything else. And then he asks me, what color are they?
Blue? I mean, they're just, they're like a light blue. I wore my contacts today, so maybe you can see them a little bit better. I usually wear my glasses, but I went with the contacts. The reason I don't wear my contacts very often now, 1, I just don't feel like it. 2, it is an old prescription, and I just don't feel like going through the process of getting a new one.
I shouldn't ask that about glasses and driving.
Yes, I do need them. So
I said I wasn't going to ask.
I think it's on my license. It's one of those where it's actually legal that I have to have them. But yeah, maybe I'll get LASIK someday.
If anybody listening out there, Chops wants to get LASIK, so maybe hook your boy up.
Shoot me in the eyes with lasers,
there
please.
You go. Anybody? That's what everybody wants. Just pump them into me.
The lasers.
Just the lasers, we mean. 100-year-old record falls. I think the Big Ten has a real chance to peacock on Saturday. That's next. It's Sports Saturday on The Fan.
Wake up with The Fan. Eat lunch with The Fan. Go to bed with The Fan. Dream about The Fan. Then change your sheets. Gross.
Ew, you guys are gross, but stick around in case I don't find anyone else.
The Fan.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
They're trained. They're prepared.
Let's do it.
They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Save big money on your roofing project at Menards. Owens Corning architectural shingles are designed to offer long-lasting performance while providing ultimate protection with up to 130 miles per hour wind and limited lifetime warranty. Choose from over 40 options available at Menards, America's #1 home improvement retailer for customer satisfaction, according to J.D. Power. Visit jdpower.com for details and menards.com for deals.
Save big money at Menards.
When an orthopedic injury or condition gets in the way of life, there is nothing more important than finding a physician you can trust. At Orthopedic One, you'll find Central Ohio's most trusted team of orthopedic experts, ready to listen to your concerns and work with you toward the best possible outcome. In fact, more people trust Orthopedic One than any other practice in Central Ohio. Start with the specialists. Start with orthopedic1.com.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman here for Germain Honda of Dublin. So what's the difference? There are other Honda dealers around. Well, Rich Newsom and his team want to earn your trust. They don't expect it, and they earn it by giving you a great price, and then they back it up after the sale. With same-day service, no appointment necessary, a great variety of brand new Hondas, and hundreds of pre-owned certified Hondas to choose from, all at the same location. Identify yours at GermainHondaofDublin.com. Germain Honda of Dublin, Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
Open a Platinum Rewards Visa at Kemba Financial Credit Union and secure super low everyday rates so you can pay down debt faster. Apply now at Kemba.org to unlock 2% cash back on purchases for a limited time and pay 0% interest for a full year on balance transfers plus exclusive perks. Restrictions apply. Offer ends October 31st, 2024.
If you miss a little, you'll miss a lot. Search for your favorite fan shows wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe. Every episode comes right to your phone absolutely free. Modern technology, it's a hell of a thing. Do it now. The Fan.
This September, Diamonds Direct's ultimate offer is back, stronger than ever. Diamonds Direct helps you get the perfect jewelry gift with 0% interest. That's right, enjoy 5 years of 0% financing on any Diamonds Direct purchase. It's your chance to get her the perfect ring with 0 interest and comfortable monthly payments that fit your budget. But act fast. This offer ends September 30th. For details and more, visit diamondsdirect.com. Spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest on approved credit. Only at Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Giant Eagle and Market District have deals for school days. That's right. Find the discounts, specials, and savings you need to start the back-to-school season. Return to your routine and shop while saving big in the process. There are over 1,000 items with incredible low prices throughout the store. Don't wait, because the Deals for Days sales are only available for a limited time. Visit your local Giant Eagle or Market District today. Learn more about the Deals for Days sales event at gianteagle.com.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu.
Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Ohio, ready for some quick mental health facts? Let's go. Nearly 2 million Ohioans live with a mental health condition. In the U.S., more than 50% of people will be diagnosed with a mental illness in their lifetime. Depression is a leading cause of disability worldwide. So why are some of us still stigmatizing people living with a mental health condition when we know all of this? Let's listen to the facts and beat the stigma. Ohio, challenge what you know about mental health at beatthestigma.org.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Cosby Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Sports talk, weekend style. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
Yes, you are. A couple things have my eyes a little wider. About 45 minutes into your Saturday action, Bowling Green's now taking a 17-7 lead on Penn State. About 12 minutes left to go in the second quarter from Happy Valley.
So this is why off the top of the show, I was totally down on Penn State, thought that it was not impressive at all what they did last week.
Yes.
No, if you were listening to the...
Gaslight the audience here and say, we have been down on Penn State. We said, don't Don't look at what they did last week against West Virginia. Andy Kotelnicki, the big Zamboni. Well, they don't use Zambonis in football, so that nickname doesn't make sense. They're garbage. They're trash, and it's turning out that's the case.
It just continues to be true. Do not believe or give any credit to James Franklin. It is not worth it. He will burn you.
Sticks.
I was talking to Reimer before he left in here, and one of the things in his parlay was, I think it was 34 and a half was the spread on this game for Penn State. And I was like, man, Bowling Green, a lot of people think it's the best team in the MAC. I know, you want to think it's OU, Reese, but a lot of people think it's Bowling Green, and that's a big number whenever you're playing the best school in the MAC.
And it's how they're moving the ball against Penn State, too, right now.
That touchdown drive was 10 plays, 73 yards. And Chops and I were talking about this in the break, Baker, that, with the transfer portal now, you've got quarterbacks in the MAC like Connor Bazelak they're adults. And they've been everywhere, and they've seen everything. And while they're not going to set the world on fire, you don't need to do that in the Mid-American Conference. You can go 8-4 and make a sensible bowl game. And for the fan base of that school, whether it be Toledo or Akron or Bowling Green or Ohio University, that's a tremendous season.
Dude, Bowling Green is dominating them statistically right now and on the scoreboard. They have 188 total yards to Penn State's 100 total yards. They are 3 of 4 on third down. Penn State 0 of 1. They have 10 first downs to Penn State's 5. The time of possession is Bowling Green 13:28, Penn State 3:44.
Chops, I know the people in Centerville don't like Connor Bazelak because he's an altar kid.
Yes.
But there's a lot of people in the southwest part of this state that will tell you Connor Bazelak, he can do it. Don't look past him, and he's having a great game so far.
I'll have to ask some of my altar friends about that. Still know some kids who we all grew up together, and then we're in the same place. But we did get to play once when we were in high school, which was fun.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, Bazelak and C.J. Hicks were teammates at one point for at least a year, maybe 2.
Yeah.
I mean, this is Bazelak's 6th season of college football, so that would, I guess, translate.
Doesn't quite get back to my high school years, but now that you say it that way, I'm like, oh, it's not far from my college years, at least.
Speaking of MAC quarterbacks, Curtis Rourke, the Maple Missile, had himself a day yesterday for Indiana as the Hoosiers beat Western Illinois 77-3.
Dude, it was a high school team out there. That is like one of the worst teams playing like a Power 4 type or a Power 5, whatever year you're looking at, that I've ever seen. Like, it was so easy. It was consistently hot knife through butter for Indiana. And I'm not saying that because I think Indiana looks like they're better this year.
Good.
But like I was like, it looked like they were playing a high school team. And I was like, well, is this a new school that just kind of sprung up and found a way to
Directional Illinois now?
No, they're a part of the Ohio Valley Conference, and the school has been around. It has changed its name a few times, but it's been around since like 1899. It's in its 125th year. And I've never heard of Western Illinois. I have family in Illinois. I'm from Iowa. I've never seen that emblem, that Bulldog emblem. Where did this team come from, and how did they end up playing Indiana?
Well, I have the obvious answers. They came from Western Illinois. Indiana gave them $800,000 to absolutely dominate them. They scored 3 total points, and that was a field goal in the second quarter. But the Hoosiers' 77 points broke the previous mark of 76 points, set in a shutout of Franklin College back in 1901. So this is a 123-year record for Indiana because they haven't scored very much after that year with Penix. Hadn't been much offensively for the Hoosiers, who also set a school record with 701 total yards. And so that was also, I think, against Franklin, or the margin of victory was second against that game against Franklin College back in 1901. Are they legit? I have no idea. I have no idea what that means other than they looked really good. I know, and I will say this because I've watched enough of Curtis Rourke with 2 years at Ohio University and now in this beginning of a stint in Indiana. He's a very good quarterback. And now he will win Indiana a lot of games. Are they going to be challenging for the Big Ten title? No, probably not. But that's a game. And next week for the Hoosiers, they're at UCLA. That'll be a 7:30 kick on NBC. I don't know, UCLA, they're in Los Angeles, if you did not know. And then they're at Ohio State Saturday, November 23rd. So that'll be, I think, the game before the game.
Okay. So I mean, I think Indiana is realer on an Indiana curve.
Yes.
Say like 7-5 might be in play for them depending on their schedule, but it does look like this can be a bowl team, and they've got the hay in the barn. They're already 2-0.
But it goes to my earlier question of can the Big Ten peacock this week? And they've got a real good chance to. Penn State just scored a touchdown. They now trail Bowling Green 14-17. Michigan's trying to drive down the field on Texas. Now I think they're just going to settle for a field goal, but it's 7-3 Longhorns. Minnesota's up on Rhode Island 10-0. Akron's trailing Rutgers 7-0. I don't know why I put the MAC school first. But starting today,
I know why. This guy's a MAC guy.
Well, there's truth to that. But you have Iowa with a chance, as the Hawkeyes scored 40 points somehow last week. Have Iowa State. You have Kansas and Illinois today. Ohio State and Western Michigan. 7:30 on NBC. Colorado and Nebraska. So a chance, really, and who knows what any of these teams are? It's week 2, but a chance for if those teams can be impressive, win respectively, or create blowouts, then this is a league that can start to really peacock, I think.
Yeah, I mean, a win for Illinois against Kansas would be a huge one because of not just what Kansas has been the last few years, but where Illinois sits in there. So you're saying, oh, wow, this like middle-class Big Ten team is going out there and beating one of the better teams in the Big 12, which is something that they should be able to do because that's kind of how we see those leagues situated. And on the flip side, the SEC, their top dogs did fine, and the people playing nobodies did fine. But their marquee games last week, except for Georgia over Clemson, didn't go too high for them. Notre Dame takes out A&M, and USC takes out LSU.
Didn't even mention that what I thought was the biggest win of week 1 was USC over LSU in Las Vegas. The Trojans have Utah State. That's tonight at 11. Probably not going to stay up for that. Number 7, Oregon's got Boise State. So a team a lot of people thought was going to be the group of 5 representative into the college football playoff. There's a chance.
They've got a Heisman candidate running back, John Tay, on there. So if you are staying up late, that's a 10 p.m. kickoff on Peacock for Boise State and Oregon. But that's a player to watch. And then, of course, there's tons of talent on Oregon. We all know Dylan Gabriel, their quarterback, but Tez Johnson, their wide receiver. Hopefully he can get into the end zone a little bit more as they struggled to finish drives last week. But he's a lot of fun to watch. So I think post-Buckeye game, this is a really good one to check out. Plus, it's a real good measuring stick of what that group of 5 playoff team is going to be, because these are the kind of matchups we're going to see in that 5-12 game most years. Second place Big Ten and a Boise State winning the Mountain West, or a Memphis winning the AAC, for example.
The Big 12 struggling a little bit. You've got Arkansas with a 14-0 lead over Oklahoma State, 11 and change. From Stillwater in the second quarter down in New Orleans. Tulane leads Kansas State 14-3. You've got to remind, because again, with the 18 teams in the Big Ten, I'm not 100% sure where NC State's in the ACC. Help me with this.
Yes.
There's the Dukes Mayo Classic tonight. Oh, Tennessee's in the SEC. So that game at 7:30. I don't know why I brought them into this, because all of a sudden I'm like, is NC State in the Big 12? No.
No, they've stuck in the ACC.
I can't keep up.
No, this one was crazy, though. Okay, so BYU played SMU last night. The BYU.
SMU's in the ACC?
Yes, SMU's in the ACC.
BYU's in the Big 12.
Yes.
Okay.
And so this was no, that wasn't the one I was thinking of. I know what it is. It's Utah Baylor. That's it. They're both in the Big
12.
They're both in the Big 12. This is not a Big 12 game today.
What?
Utah is playing Baylor in an out-of-conference game because this was scheduled beforehand. So it is not one of their Big 12 games. It will not go towards their conference record today. That's how stupid some of this stuff is. 2 Big 12 teams are playing in a non-Big 12 game, which we had happen to an ACC thing a few years ago. I don't know if that was a COVID situation or what caused that, but that's what's going on with Utah. So if you watch Utah and Baylor, if it's an upset and Baylor wins, it doesn't do anything to Utah's chances to win the Big 12.
I mean, I guess it's that's of consequence.
Yes.
I think the Big 12 is only sending 1 representative to the college football playoff, but you learn something. You hope to learn something new every day, and I've learned several things before 1 o'clock this afternoon. A Michigan man gets to live his dream, but was it a nightmare? We'll discuss next at Sports Saturday on The Fan.
If you've recently seen a photo of an older Baker Mayfield fresh off a bender, it's just Bo Bishop. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan.
Life. It's full of strange twists and unexpected surprises. But at AAA, it's always been our policy to look on the plus side. And our AAA Plus members tend to take the same view. Take Martin, for example. Last Monday, his morning coffee surprised him with an extra 10 degrees of Fahrenheit. Ouch! It was just the jolt of energy he needed to start the day. Later, when his shirt was targeted by the mustard on his burger, he became a proud trendsetter.
Martin, looking good.
And when he walked face first into a sparkling glass door, he was happy to provide some much-needed entertainment for his coworkers.
I'm okay.
And of course, when his car battery took early retirement, Martin felt no resentment. He knew there was a plus side. AAA's expert roadside assistance was only a call away.
Hello, AAA. Are you in a safe location?
While we can't all be like Martin, we can become a AAA Plus member and experience the peace of mind that comes with living on the plus side. Towing is subject to a 7-day waiting period. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, welcome to IKEA's complete sleep event. Don't miss dreamy offers on sleep essentials.
I've tried carrying sheep, but keep losing track.
We've got you. IKEA family members save 15% off your purchase of $300 or more on select sleep comfort items. Check out comforters, pillows, and mattresses for all sleep styles, and so much more.
Ooh, can't wait.
You shouldn't. Go to IKEA-USA.com/bettersleep or visit your local store today. Offer valid August 7th through September 10th, U.S. only. See store and IKEA-USA.com for full details and eligible items. Restrictions apply.
Look what we have here. It's the refreshing deliciousness of a Pepsi mini can. It's the perfect complement to any meal. The dash of indulgence your day was dreaming of. The sip that'll have you singing Pepsi.
Nope, not again, Steve. Let's take a cue from the Pepsi mini can and pack all that awesomeness you're feeling into a much smaller treat for everyone. Deal?
So, big awesomeness, smaller size. I think I've got just the thing.
Pepsi mini can. Mini can, big taste.
August may seem like the end of summer. It also means the beginning of a lot of things, like back to school, festivals, football. At Buckeye Lake Marina, it means the August savings days are upon us. Get huge discounts on all of the new and used boats that they didn't sell. Every pontoon, tri-toon, sport boats, even fishing boats are ready for you. Save thousands on demo models that have been used all summer to show off amazing features. Some have never even been in the water. Take advantage of the August savings days at Buckeye Lake Marina. Their summer hours continue through the entire month of August. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com for details.
Your car needs a new battery. That'll be $19,000.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a second opinion.
You wouldn't accept that quote, so why accept this one from that other company?
$19,000 for a new sewer line.
I'm going to call the waterworks instead.
Facing an expensive sewer repair? If another company's quote is way more than expected, call the Waterworks for a second opinion. We have the most experienced drain techs in Central Ohio. Call 614-232-2222.
Integrity, honesty, and quality. Words we live by here at Monogram Homes. Hi, this is Dina. And at Monogram Homes, we strive to bring your wants to your man cave, your needs to your kitchen, and your ideas to life. Most home builders claim to be custom, but starting with stock floor plans and templates isn't our idea of a tailored experience. At Monogram Homes, we start with a blank slate and work with you until you get exactly what you want. So start your true custom home journey today with a builder you can trust. Monogram Homes. Visit us online at monogramhomes.net.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. This is the Fans Game Day Scoreboard.
Brought to you by Valley Ford of Columbus.
Good afternoon. I'm Ryan Baker. Game day number 2 for the number 2 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes tonight in the shoe as they take on Western Michigan. Our pregame coverage begins at 2 with the pregame show. 4 o'clock, the tailgate show takes over. Then at 6, it's Paul and Jim with network coverage. Cody Simon and Donovan Jackson both missed last week's game. They are available tonight, but will be game time decisions. Going on in the top 25 right now, Texas has a 7-3 lead over Michigan. Number 8, Penn State trails Bowling Green 17-14. Arkansas has a 14-7 lead over number 16 Oklahoma State. Tulane leading number 17 Kansas State 14-3, and Syracuse 14-7. They lead number 23 Georgia Tech. Kyle McCord with 2 touchdown passes in that one already.
Celebrate Buckeye Game Day. This is the Fan Pregame Show. Here's Chops and Rieser.
I was going to play coming out of that break, Cade Stover being asked by Landry Locker, who covers the Houston Texans. About
friend of the program.
Friend of, not this program, but friend of many programs here on The Fan, about the Connor Stallions documentary. But I don't know if it would sound really good over the music bed. And also Michigan is about to, we'll see what Texas does with this thing as the Longhorns lead 7-3, but they're in the Wolverines' red zone. It was interesting to me what Stover had said. in that they kind of knew that it was BS, and there was, during one of their games, like a tight end screen that they were going to run that they hadn't run, that Michigan all of a sudden knew screen was coming. It's at 971 BFS if you do want to find the audio. I think that leads to a greater point of watching, at least a greater point from me about watching College Game Day or watching the big noon kickoff show this morning, how I think that only Michigan recognizes that national championship, and how the greater college football conversation around the 2023 season is they cheated to do it.
And
go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's a real shame for them, and I'm not here sitting crying tears for a Michigan fan or a Michigan man, but like, it was a really talented team. Like, they didn't, it was whatever happened with Connor Stallions, I think definitely propped them up over the years. Maybe did help for sure at the beginning of the season. Not that they needed it; those were all going to be opponents that Michigan was going to beat. And then it goes away, so they're not. Connor Stallions goes away, so they're seemingly not getting that advantage anymore. And they still played really well down the stretch, and they won the national championship. And so I guess it's sort of a question for them: like, was it worth it? Right now, it still feels worth it, and they can live in their own little denial and have Netflix produce a documentary that just lets Connor Stallions lie for an hour and 20 minutes. But as time goes on, especially if they're not able to recreate some of that magic and really compete at the highest level anymore, will they feel that great about it if it goes back down to pre-Harbaugh levels? Something that I don't think is going to happen, but is always in play. It just happened at Michigan 15 years ago.
Yeah, so Texas's Jarrett Gibson just punched it in 7 yards out. Longhorns lead 14-3. 8.5 minutes left to go in the second quarter.
Good thing Bo switched to Longhorns huge.
Longhorns huge was the pick by one Bo Bishop. But watching Big Noon Kick today, they did a 3-hour kind of useless extravaganza, and they did a lot of celebrating the Michigan football program.
They kept singing that song. It's great to be a Michigan Wolverine, right?
And I think that's wonderful in their bubble, but I do think that just brought back, because when I watched the Connor Stallions documentary, I laughed. Like, I thought that was comedy at its finest. I thought they were so in their own little space that they believed all of that nonsense they were spewing.
I couldn't believe they made him the star of it. It was so weird.
I thought it was wonderful. I thought it was I thought it was brilliant, because I think everybody else is laughing at it. But to see them, it brought back the feelings that I had last season of this Michigan football program, and the Michigan man drives me absolutely nuts. And it did the thing that you do kind of in November, right? Where you think about Michigan every day, but you don't really start to get disdain for them until a couple weeks out. And then the week of, and then it's bleat Michigan all day. This morning for me, watching, I think it was Colston Loveland, he had Jenny Taft, and they were walking through Michigan's locker room. There's Michigan versus everybody. And I'm like, you're damn right. Bleat Michigan. 365 days a year.
And that's why the NCAA can do whatever they want. I am on the record. I don't like postseason bans, but I think all the other stuff, fines, recruiting limitations, bringing back the amount of scholarships, all that stuff I think is fine. It doesn't look like they're going to take away the games from the record books, whatever.
Fine.
People have different opinions on that. But what I really care about, go out there, especially if you're Ohio State, and just beat them.
Yep.
Just put them into the ground. That's the real punishment. Put them back to the Stone Age of the Brady Hoke and Rich Rod era, and just bring them down, not just a peg, multiple pegs, and then they can stop talking. But right now, because they've created their own reality, they don't care about the accusations or even what is concluded from the investigation from the NCAA, because they can just still sit back on, well, we won it all. We've beaten Ohio State 3 times in a row. That's the way, for me, the only way to get vindication and the only way to shut them up is for Ohio State to go out there and beat them.
You win on November 30th, and you win emphatically, and you leave no doubt. I know that was one of several mantras that Ryan Day was conveying to his players throughout this offseason, was leave no doubt, and that's especially true on November 30th. And whatever happens after that, then you're able to just kind of wash this away. With Connor Stallions and his involvement in all of it, I do still think it's funny. I think he is a comedic person. I think everything about him is laughable. It's this, thank you for your service, Connor Stallions. because it brought last year especially. You had just had so much to talk about with that. Every single week there was something new and ridiculous about this person.
I think you should leave character.
He's a character that an SNL writer, that SNL writers would sit in a room like, how can we make this as ridiculous as possible?
Well,
and
what
it
if he
gets
filmed
more
himself
ridiculous.
doing 3,000 signs so he could catalog all of it? Yep, put that in there.
Absolutely, put that in put that in the skit. So Stallions it was reported that a high school in Michigan hired Connor Stallions as an assistant or as a volunteer defensive coordinator. Detroit Mumford was the high school, and the Detroit Mumford football program had gone 1-8 in past seasons, and so they hired this guy to come in and try to, save or resurrect or bring them. I don't know.
I think it was just for the notoriety of it, honestly.
When coaches go 2-16 in 2 years, they likely get fired. So the next guy they bring in, he brings aboard Connor Stallions to be his defensive coordinator. Well, the first game of the season they lost 47-6, so that's a great job out of Stallions in getting his team ready defensively.
Kept him under 50.
But the head coach then, unfortunately, suffered a stroke last week. There's good news there. There's no permanent damage for the head coach, but it left them with a need for an interim, which was Connor Stallions.
For some reason.
And last night, they lost to a high school in Flint, 60-0.
Remember, this is defensive specialist, according to them, Connor Stallions.
Defensive specialist, Connor Stallions.
Because he's a defensive coordinator, and he takes over, and yeah, it's weird that they went with him for the interim. The whole reason he's there is just, hey, look at us, and it's working. We're talking about it. People are writing articles about it. But if you really cared about winning, why would Connor Stallions, who just got there a few weeks ago and it doesn't have experience being a head coach at any level that I know of, why would he be the interim other than for the headline grabbing? But the headline grabbing is just more point and laugh because they keep losing these big games. Connor Stallions was very adept at looking at television copy or possibly, allegedly, videos that people took from the stands to decipher signals so that he could get a jump on what opponents were going to run against Michigan. But that doesn't mean he's a good coach. And by all accounts, I don't think his team's very good, so who knows really, but he's clearly not making a difference right now.
Well, Stallions told the Detroit News after the loss, quote, "I came to Mumford because I wanted to help flip the culture. They're not used to winning, and I wanted to help show these guys the actual process of what it's going to take to win because they eventually will win." And
Texas with a pick, by the way.
That's more gratifying than going to a program that's already winning. So he wants to change the culture at Detroit Mumford. As Chops, you said, Texas gets an interception. It was okay. So that's Davis Warren with his first pick of the day. Yeah, it's going to get late early for the Wolverines. 14-3 is the score there. But for Connor Stallions, this is just it's comical.
So he wants to come in and change the culture into a winning culture.
Yes.
This sounds similar to his ideals when he joined the Michigan staff, that I want to do whatever it takes to make them better. Will he be brazen enough, especially after these first two results, to pull into his old bag of tricks and get all the signals, and then all of a sudden the defense starts playing well? But is the team even good enough if they do know the plays? Because right now it looks like they are overmatched.
Yeah, I think that's the slight difference when you've got a team of high schoolers compared to a team of actually really talented football players that he had at Michigan. Because like you just said, that those teams are really talented, ridiculously talented.
You could tell me all of Ohio State's plays. I'm never making the tackle.
No, but if you add the advanced scouting and the knowledge of plays and the knowledge of signals to what's already a ridiculously talented team, you get that kind of success that they were able to experience, or you allegedly get that success they were able to experience over the last couple of seasons. So.
It would be just a perfect end to the story if he got caught by whatever OHSAA is up in Michigan for stealing signs again at the high school level.
There's no way. I mean, this does feel like he's going to do that for a little bit, and then he'll just bounce around forever. So in 6 months, we'll have a Connor Stallions update. And then in 12 months, we'll have a Connor Stallions update. And then probably when Ohio State puts Michigan in a pine box, we don't ever talk about Connor Stallions again. But remember when that happened? Boy, was that wacky.
Especially how it looks that he's probably going to get himself out of football eventually. Yeah. Or if he bounces around high school football, that becomes a non-story event. If he gets hired, the next thing that would be a big storyline after okay, now he's coaching high school, is if he got any sort of job around a college football program again, which I don't think is something that's possible at all.
Well, this is becoming a story in Happy Valley. Bowling Green now leads Penn State 24-17.
Wish I could watch it.
4 plays, 75 yards was at which the Falcons were able to hot knife through butter on a Penn State defense that again,
they've been doing it all afternoon
without really knowing what Andy Kotelnicki was going to bring to the Nittany Lions. At least Penn State had a great defense. And I'm going to say the similar thing about Michigan. Like, regardless of what Davis Warren or Alex Orji was going to bring offensively, we didn't know. At least they were going to have a really good defense to fall back on. Guys, what's happening?
Bowling Green has 288 total yards in this one. And you're right about Penn State. At least in Michigan's case, it looks like their defense is having a tough time out there. But it's Texas and Quinn Ewers. So, like, everybody, there's going to be a lot of teams that have a tough time with them. Bowling Green, a good MAC program, but Penn State should be able to slow them down more than this. I think Penn State will still win, but they are nowhere near covering, what did you say, 31.5?
It was 34.5.
34.5. Wow. Yeah, they're not going to cover that.
Baker just got into my ear. I'll bring that to air. What just happened?
Kyle McCord has 3 touchdown passes today.
Syracuse leads Georgia Tech 21-14. About 4.5 minutes left to go from the JMA Wireless Dome. Georgia Tech, the 23rd ranked Yellow Jackets.
Georgia Tech literally just scored when I told you that to cut it to 21-14.
Okay. Well, we got a little game up there in Syracuse.
They look. Kyle McCord's a really good quarterback. But Kyle McCord was not the quarterback that Ohio State needed to get them to summit the college football mountaintop.
They wanted a different skill set, so they went out and found one.
I also think that's the reason with QB2 and Julian Sain. Because there's going to be a scenario tonight at Ohio Stadium where I think for the best interest of the program, Ryan Day needs to do something different than what he did last week. I'll explain next at Sports Saturday on The Fan.
We're known for 3 things: games, conversation, and Common Man yelling about things only he cares about. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Wake up. Breakfast. And Nature Made vitamins. Whatever your morning sounds like, Nature Made fits right in. Whether you're looking for vitamin C or a multivitamin to get key nutrients, we've got you covered. Now that's a good morning. We take care of you so you can take on your day. Start your day with Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here from my friends at High Bank Distillery Co., located right here in Columbus, the home of the best blended whiskey in America. Support local and grab a bottle at your local liquor store right now. But they don't just make whiskey. Introducing their newest product, 614 Vodka, Ohio's house vodka. High Bank teamed up with 614 to launch your new favorite go-to, 614 Vodka. Perfect to make a drink at home or try when you're out at your favorite local restaurant. There's no taste like home with 614 Vodka. Learn more at 614vodka.com.
Meet Abdullah Mahmood, problem gambling counselor at Maryhaven.
More and more people are falling into problem gambling. It can happen so quickly that you don't realize it until you face a crisis. Gambling issues often connect to depression, anxiety, or other addictions. Maryhaven's experts offer comprehensive care. You and your loved ones can count on mental, emotional, and financial guidance.
Confidential and judgment-free. Go to Maryhaven.com today.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career and they talked to me about it.
He was done in just months.
I did do it online.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at My Computer Career.
It worked for me and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
They're trained. They're prepared. Let's do it. They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Remember how that little girl in Poltergeist was in the TV?
They're here.
Yeah? Well, she's actually dead now. It's quite sad. Anyway, watch your favorite fan shows on your TV by subscribing to us on YouTube. Search 971 The Fan. Do it now.
This week, find hot deals in one stop at Meijer. Shop select bulk apples for $1.49 per pound. Fresh from Meijer family pack chicken thighs for $1.29 per pound. And select General Mills cereal for $1.99. Plus, earn M-Perks points every time you shop for groceries, apparel, and at the pump. You even earn points at the Meijer Pharmacy. So schedule your flu shot today. Available now. Meijer has all you need in just one stop. And the same low Meijer prices in-store and online. Exclusions apply. See all deals in-store or in the Meijer app.
August may seem like the end of summer. It also means the beginning of a lot of things, like back to school, festivals, football. At Buckeye Lake Marina, it means the August savings days are upon us. Get huge discounts on all of the new and used boats that they didn't sell. Every pontoon, tri-toon, sport boats, even fishing boats are ready for you. Save thousands on demo models that have been used all summer to show off amazing features. Some have never even been in the water. Take advantage of the August savings days at Buckeye Lake Marina. Their summer hours continue through the entire month of August. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com for details.
Your local Rite Aid might be closing, but don't worry. It's easy to transfer your prescriptions with GoodRx. First, check prices at GoodRx.com or on our app. Then show your coupon to the pharmacist. It's that simple. GoodRx can save you up to 80% on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, GoodRx is free and it works whether you have insurance or not. Download the app or visit GoodRx.com today. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
Does our waiter look familiar?
I think he was the Plum Insurance mascot. If all insurance companies were like NJM and didn't use gimmicks, then their mascots would have to get real jobs.
That explains the long purple hair in my soup.
No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. NJM.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Sunny skies this afternoon with highs near 70. Getting chilly overnight, lows near 40 with a few upper 30s possible in rural areas. On Sunday, mostly sunny with highs in the mid-70s. And then back into the low 80s on Monday with more sunshine. I'm meteorologist Mike Joyce on 97.1 The Fan.
Live, local, and still slightly drunk.
I'm not drunk, all right? I just have a speech impediment.
This is Fan Sports Saturday.
Following us at 2 o'clock, this station's going to go down to the campus of The Ohio State University for the pregame show with Matty Ice, DeVere Posey, and Dane Sanzenbacher. They'll be on Lane Avenue, that big shipping container. If you see it right out front of the Ozone tailgate, which is right out front of Riverwatch Tower, is going to have those three broadcasting until 4 o'clock. And then they'll throw things over to St. John and Rita from 4 to 6 for the tailgate show. Anthony Rothman, Tim May, Andy Katzenmoyer will take you until 6 o'clock on the dot. And Skip Mossick, Paul Keels, Jim Lachey, and Clay Hall are going to have your network pregame coverage 90 minutes out of that kickoff, 7:30 between the Buckeyes and the Broncos of Western Michigan. 37.5 points is the spread. Chops, I had said yesterday on Bishop and Friends that it was at 38-point spread. It was going to be a push. I think I had 45 to 7.
Yep.
Which, doing the math, puts it right on the 38. I do think similarly to Akron last week, tough number to cover, even the 37.5. But Ohio State, I believe, I truly do, is going to find themselves in a situation in the fourth quarter where it's going to be time to rotate your guys. It's going to be time to put your starters on ice. And I love how they did this on the defensive front with the 7. They were able to make it similarly to a Times Square crosswalk. Like they had talked in the past, when you're trying to figure out who's your best guys are, they know who their best 11 are. Mm-hmm. But when it comes time to a game where you're up by 28, 30 points, start rotating guys at different spots, start rotating guys at different times. Similarly with your offensive players, you get the 2s in. I think it would behoove this Ohio State program, if they truly think Julian Sain's the future, to make him quarterback 2. You don't have to put it on the depth chart. Nobody cares. But when the 2s go in, it's Julian Sain with the full complement of Ohio State's offense to get him comfortable, because I don't think in games against Iowa or Oregon later in October, you're going to get that opportunity. I think you need to take the advantage of it now against directional Michigan.
It's a really interesting conundrum to be in because it does look like not Quinn Ewers, I'm watching the Michigan-Texas game, that Julian Sayin is going to be the guy under center for the Buckeyes next year. That's based on everything we've heard and what people have seen of the practices we got to see during training camp, that this kid is special. There was a reason he was the top-rated recruit, 5-star coming into this year. And so I think as a coaching staff, you have to ask your question, like, well, what's more important here and which guy actually gets us there? Because if you start working with Julian Sayin, because you have that much faith in him and you've seen a good amount from him so far, if he starts getting that work, he's more likely to be ready when you actually need to call on him, if you actually need to call on him. Whereas Devin Brown, I think, is probably at just about where he's going to be. More experience is going to make everybody better, but we've seen what Devin Brown has to offer. That's the other thing. I want to see what Julian Sayin has to offer from a fan standpoint, but I also want him to be getting those reps to improve, because if it comes down to it and they really have to start a quarterback, I could see them going with Julian Sayin's the better guy right now.
In the case of emergency break glass situation, I don't have faith that Devin Brown can be the guy to get Ohio State where it needs to go. I don't know if Julian Sayin could be, but I'm more interested to see if that's the case. I'm more interested to see why Ohio State, when you had 3 quarterbacks on your roster, a quarterback committed, and then you got Will Howard, why Julian Sayin was another portal person you just had to pick up.
When you already had Aaron Nolan coming in, yeah. Why was this guy so special? Well, based on what we've heard, we know why he's so special. The problem is, Rieser, I feel like the real truth is you're going to see Devin Brown, number 33, in there when we first swip out a quarterback today. But maybe they get that differential up faster, and we do get to see Julian Sayin, but I don't think he's going to be the second quarterback out there.
I mean, we have a track record that this isn't going to happen, but I would love to see Will Howard play the first half, and then Ohio State is so in command of the game that we get number 2 and 3 in there for a third. One gets a third quarter, one gets a fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Now, that's not going to happen.
Sign me up for that right now.
Because we have track record, but, man, that would be nice.
And even when they do go in, it's just kind of check down, run. All right, we'll punt. We'll kick a field goal.
Yeah, enough of that.
We never get... I know you want to see the full complement of the offense, but historically it is not what we have seen.
I know, and it drives me nuts because it does nobody good to do handoff, check down, handoff, check down.
You would think that they would have learned from last year.
And maybe we don't know they haven't. We've only had one game. So
but we didn't see it in that game.
No, you're absolutely right.
They didn't have much time to work with, though. So maybe they'll do it if they get more time, if it's somewhere in the middle of the third quarter that they make the flip. But like he said, going against history, it's just hard to see that that's what's going to happen. They really like to lock it up once they start to rotate guys out on offense.
Are we going to see Justin Fields start for the Pittsburgh Steelers tomorrow?
Sounds like it. Russell Wilson's, he's been dealing with that calf injury since camp, which I read this week that he sustained it originally, like hitting a blocking sled.
Sure.
Why is Russell Wilson hitting a blocking sled in Pittsburgh? What is going on?
Mr. Unlimited, and you can't limit him to just quarterback drills. He's got to hit the sled. He's got to go under the chutes. He's got to make sure his footwork is pristine at all times. He's got to do the leg kicks in the
remember when
airplane aisleways. Like, he's always got to be working on something.
Remember when Jameis saw the running backs running through the little gauntlet machine with the little...
and he tried it?
Yeah, and he tried it, and he just got bounced around like he was a pinball in there. That's what I imagine it looked like for Russell Wilson. It's weird that, like, it's just weird to me that he would get injured like this, because his whole thing, his entire career has been, I spend $1 million a year taking care of my body, all this stuff just to make sure that I have this longevity and then I can be healthy throughout the year. And then you're a quarterback hitting a blocking slide. Either way, he's been dealing with it. It got re-aggravated this week, and it looks to me like Justin Fields is going to get another shot to prove that, hey, I should be the starter on this Pittsburgh Steelers team. But I don't have a ton of faith that he is going to be able to go out there and just grab it. Maybe with 4 quarters of work in a real regular season game, it will be more impressive. But he had the same shot in the first preseason game, and it wasn't really that good.
NFL Network's Ian Rappaport says that Russell Wilson's going to work out today, and then the final decision is going to be made, though it is trending for whatever that means. Fields is going to get the start again tomorrow against the Atlanta Falcons. That's a 1 o'clock kick. It doesn't seem to be the best plan to have your quarterback situation up in the air the day before your opener.
It also doesn't seem to be the best plan that if Russell Wilson is dealing with a calf injury all the way into Saturday, for game one.
This has
you
been
probably
a 3-month calf thing.
Yeah, you probably sit them and say, well, let's make sure that you're right, because no, the Pittsburgh Steelers aren't on a bunch of people's short list to make the Super Bowl, but they are a make the playoffs expectation team every year. And if Russell Wilson's the guy you want, then that's who you want. That's when you want him to play. In this week, that's why you picked up Justin Fields, for the insurance of it. So maybe that's why they're letting it play out as long as they can, because they don't feel bad about putting Justin Fields in. They want to keep the option open. But I don't see a way that it would make sense to play Russell Wilson. If he's dealing with that calf injury, he's just going to re-aggravate it in the game, I would think.
And it does feel that if Fields is bad tomorrow, so if Fields does get the start against the Falcons and he's bad, then they can just go to Russell Wilson, and that can be the case. They can just move forward with that. But if Justin Fields, and also maybe Fields is good, they don't have to go to Russell Wilson for week 2. They can take this as long as it can go, because your Pittsburgh Steelers team that you're going to win probably 8-9 games anyway, just because that's what Mike Tomlin does. And that feels their ceiling this year.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's also a decent chance, depending on how this quarterback situation works out, or if I think there's a chance both guys don't play all that well, and that we do finally see the Mike Tomlin below 500 record. It has to happen at some point, right?
I don't know. Another thing I don't know about is the Cleveland Browns. That's next. Sports Saturday on The Fan.
Bobby Carpenter doesn't have a mullet, but he's knee-deep in mullet energy. Morning Juice with Bobby and Beamer.
Weekdays starting at 6.
The Fan.
Ohio, ready for some quick mental health facts? Let's go. Nearly 2 million Ohioans live with a mental health condition. In the U.S., more than 50% of people will be diagnosed with a mental illness in their lifetime. Depression is a leading cause of disability worldwide. So why are some of us still stigmatizing people living with a mental health condition when we know all of this? Let's listen to the facts and beat the stigma. Ohio, challenge what you know about mental health at beatthestigma.org.
Welcome to Nada Yada Island. This season on Nada Yada Island.
You were charging your phone? I waited hours for you.
That's how long it takes.
Join Metro and get a free Motorola Edge that'll charge for the day in 15 minutes. At Metro, there's no activation fees. Only at Metro by T-Mobile.
Bring your number ID and sign up for Metro Flex Plus plan. Offer not available if at T-Mobile or have been with Metro in the past 180 days. Requires 68-watt charger, sold separately. Actual performance will vary.
I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. For over 3 decades, Cordell & Cordell has been on the front lines of family law. Divorce is more than just a legal process. It's a life-changing event that can impact your future, finances, and your relationship with your children. You've worked hard to build a life that you're proud of, and you deserve a legal partner who will work just as hard to protect it.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Columbus area attorneys. 10 West Broad Street, Suite 1550, Columbus, Ohio, 43215. CordellCordell.com.
Hey, it's Anthony here, and over the years, I've tried to stay in the fight, keep playing, but every now and then, something gets me, shoulder pain, a knee tweak, a recent bout of golfer's elbow. When the weekend warrior injuries happen, the first call I make is to the specialists at Orthopedic One. I don't mess around. I want the #1 ranked place for orthopedics in Ohio. They've earned the right to be called Central Ohio's most trusted team of orthopedic experts. Get started at orthopedic1.com. No referral needed, but if you want one, I got you.
Here's a quick listening guide. When something's on the fan, it's on the station you're listening to right now. If I say something's on ESPN Columbus, it's on 1460 AM and the Fan's HD2. When in doubt, stream it on the Fan app. Thank you and good night.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
And what is it called?
A ceiling fan.
And where is it?
It's on the floor.
And why is that a problem?
Well, see, the person who named it probably should have called it a floor. No, that's not right. The guy on TV I saw put up a ceiling fan.
Are you a TV star, Paul?
No, I'm not.
Are you an electrician, Paul?
I am not.
You are?
I am a middle management accountant, and I shouldn't be putting up ceiling fans.
You should.
Call the pros who knows.
Apex Pros.
The pros who know electrical work, too.
Hi, it's Alex from Apex Pros. And if you liked us for plumbing, cooling, and heating, you're gonna love our pro electricians.
Apex Pros are on the way.
Much easier, isn't it?
I'm glad we sorted this out.
Me too.
Columbus loves the pros who knows. Schedule with one click at apexpros.com.
Save big money on storage solutions at Menards. Versatube offers thousands of steel carport and shelter options to protect your car, boat, or yard equipment. Their quick slip frame connections provide easy assembly and are available in 22 steel roofing and siding colors. Save big on Versatube storage solutions at Menards, America's #1 home improvement retailer for customer satisfaction according to J.D. Power. Visit jdpower.com for details and menards.com for deals.
Save big money at Menards.
Welcome to the Plus Side, where a AAA Plus membership means that an empty gas tank won't keep you from a full day, and where a dead battery can't stop you from being the life of the party. Because on the Plus Side, roadside mishaps don't have to ruin your day. With AAA Plus, tire changes, battery swaps, and emergency fuel are just a tap away. AAA gets to you faster, and if you need a tow, we'll take you further. Become a member today and experience peace of mind on the Plus Side. Towing is subject to a 7-day waiting period. Terms and conditions apply.
Garnish your Bloody Mary with sports talk. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
I know I teased the Cleveland Browns, but here's something better. Texas is right now driving after a Colston Loveland. I caught the ball, but then I didn't. Turnover. Colston Loveland, again, Michigan's probably their best offensive player.
Henry Edwards, right?
Very uncharacteristic from number 18, the tight end for the Wolverines. But now Texas with some urgency. You got 23 seconds left to go in the second quarter. They're up 17-3. Sarkisian wants more. And I'm all here for it. Bury these idiots.
I agree with you completely. Just put them away here in the first half, and then we can figure out the second half once that comes our way.
Do more. Arch Manning then buries.
The interesting thing for me on that Colston Loveland fumble, it feels like a play that doesn't happen to a team like Michigan last year, where a lot of things went their way, and they were a very talented team too. But the way he was holding the ball was that total like bread, holding a loaf of bread, not high and tight ball security. It was just kind of out, and I think it hit his knee. I only saw the replay once, but I think it just kind of hit his knee, and the ball was loose, and there it goes. Well, that's just simple stuff that you always ingrain in players through coaching and practice. And it's not crazy to say that I think Michigan is taking a step down in coaching, and I think that's just one example of does that happen under Harbaugh's watch? Probably not.
This from Parker Fleming on Twitter. No, I don't think that Parker Fleming. Counting my blessings this morning, they so easily could have played Texas-Michigan at a soulless NFL stadium in primetime, and instead we get the big house full to the brim on a Saturday morning. Yes, I agree completely. These kinds of games need to be played in college stadiums. You're going to get Bank of America Stadium tonight for Tennessee, NC State. It's the Duke's Mayo thing. That doesn't need to be a thing. Play that game at Rocky Top. Or play it at, I don't know where NC State is.
At least
play it there. Play it on campus. Play it with the students available. Play it with the raucous crowds you're going to get at those arenas instead of what's going to, I think, be a sterile environment where the Carolina Panthers try to play football.
The students should be there. Everybody always likes to talk about college crowds, and then people complain when people are standing up or when the tailgates get too rowdy. But the students are the reason that college crowds are fun.
Yep.
They're not fun because of all the season ticket holders who, have the seat backs and stuff. And that's great that you guys enjoy it and that you come out and fill up these stadiums too. But the students are the ones that make those environments and make it so loud and make it feel like it's shaking. So when you take them out of the game, you end up with something even more sterilized than a normal NFL game, something more akin to a Super Bowl, but without all the pomp and circumstance around it. So it just is kind of a dead building in there. And I hate it, especially we had the marquee one with USC and LSU.
Yeah.
Neither of them are really Las Vegas schools at all. Who's going to that game? It was mostly LSU fans because they've got a huge fan base that cares. But USC fans were like, I'm not going out to Las Vegas for a football game because why would you? I get it.
Yeah, 23-3, pending the extra point as Texas. And this goes back to the point where when Quinn Ewers gets the football, they're driving into the teeth of the Michigan student section. This is a Matthew Golden 5 yards out for Quinn Ewers, pending the extra point. This is what college football is supposed to be. You've got the student section. As much as I dislike Michigan, when that student section's full and they've all got those dumb yellow pom-poms, that's a really cool look for college football, and that's a tremendous atmosphere to be a part of. More of that, please. And look, you're going to get, if Texas continues to run this score up, and I hope that they do, you get Arch Manning late in the third, early in the fourth quarter. Likely his first start is coming in the Horseshoe next fall.
I hope, too, that for this sake, what we're talking about playing in the actual stadiums, okay, you have the option to host a playoff game in that first round this year. If you are, what would that be, seeds 5 through 8, right? Mm-hmm. They get to host. But there has been some talk, even from here at Ohio State. Now, this was under Gene Smith. I don't know for sure where they're at now, but the idea of, well, what if we brought it to a neutral field? Because is our stadium ready for a game in December? Is our stadium weatherized for that? Whatever the reason might be. No. Keep them on campus, and I would hope that if anybody does decide to go neutral, that they would see the other ones actually on campus and be like, oh, well, they actually got to use the home field advantage, and the game was so much fun, and everybody loved it. It brought out so many fans. Whereas when you put it into those things, the problem is the barrier to entry when you put it in a different city at a higher price ticket. And like I said, the secret to college football crowds being so much fun is the student sections.
It's not really a
Taco Bell can only buy so many tickets.
Yeah, no, we just have it at these locations. A couple other interesting notes from games going on around the country. We'll get to the Cleveland Browns and probably even to a better point, the Cincinnati Bengals coming up here in a minute. But they're at the half right now in Happy Valley. Bowling Green's got a 24-20 lead on number 8, Penn State. Arkansas at the half has a 21-7 lead over number 16, Oklahoma State. That game's in Stillwater. Kansas State's made it a little closer as they've got about a minute left to go in the first half from New Orleans. Tulane leads 17-10, and then Syracuse leads at the half 21-14 over number 23, Georgia Tech. Kyle McCord, 3 touchdowns on the day.
Almost 300 yards passing there just in the first half for him. So he's having a nice little start to his Syracuse career.
So the ACC feels very much up for grabs, as the thing that I hope never dies is the question of, is the U back? And Miami looked the part last week. They're the best team in Florida, or the best college football team, I should say, in Florida. 41-17, Cam Ward threw himself into the Heisman conversation.
Somebody said something interesting about Cam Ward this week. If you get a chance to watch Miami, because then they were showing a bunch of plays. So, I mean, maybe just confirmation bias because he picked the plays that he was doing. But he was the most at ease quarterback. I can't remember the specific word, laid back, something like that. Because if you watch him, he does kind of float around and let it happen around him, and then just kind of tosses the ball. But he's good. He's a great athlete, and he's got a big arm. But yeah, there was that feel of him. So if you get a chance to watch Miami at all this year, take a look at Cam Ward and just how calm and collected he feels. He never feels like a guy with his hair on fire.
And there was a national radio host, and I apologize, I can't remember, Andrew Pirloff maybe, who does CBS Sports Radio, during the game during Miami's beatdown of Florida, asked if Cam Ward should have been the better portal target over Will Howard. And I don't know exactly the extent of Ohio State's interest in Cam Ward, but there were probably 3 quarterbacks that I think if you'd have been, Ohio State needs a portal person, I'd be okay with getting. Riley Leonard, who obviously goes to Notre Dame, Will Howard, who will be starting tonight for Ohio State against Western Michigan, and then the aforementioned Cam Ward. After watching Will Howard last week, I'm good.
I agree with you. Cam Ward's athleticism definitely really stood out to me, but then you start to learn more about why is it Will Howard?
What are you thinking?
I wanted to say Caleb Downs, and I was Caleb Downs isn't right. Will Howard. Then when you learn more about him and look into his career at Kansas State, you're like, okay, he's not just a big guy. This guy can move too. They brought down his weight, and now I heard he was clocked at 34 miles an hour at practice.
Yeah. That's cheetah fast.
It's crazy.
Will Howard's an adult. You brought in a professional. So Cam Ward would have been fine. Riley Leonard would have been fine. But for Will Howard, he's, I think, the right guy for this Ohio State offense. Now, I also saw, because Quinn Ewers is doing what I foresee Will Howard being able to do on November 30th against Michigan, is read the field very well and use his feet to make plays when first guy's not there, with especially the talent Ohio State's got with the receiving room, but then also to use his legs, because Quinn Ewers is killing the Wolverines right now with his legs. Those 2 touchdown passes were not out of the pocket. And so for Will Howard, that is also, that's what I love about his game.
The Michigan defense is supposed to be their strong unit, and right now you are able to run against them, both from the quarterback standpoint, but also the running back standpoint, and they're throwing right down the field. So you're right. If you have a quarterback that's adept at everything and can do that does look like something that can at least put them in a bad situation where they're down pretty big at halftime here, which is something that Ohio State would be very much interested in, because right now, Michigan has offense problems. It is not good, and it's not even that it's just not good enough. It's like, it's
I'll say that I'll ask you this.
Confusingly bad.
I don't think it's surprising that Michigan's struggling offensively.
They lost a lot of guys.
They lost an offensive line that was the best in the country for the past couple of years. They lost Blake Corum. J.J. McCarthy goes to the Minnesota Vikings. So just that talent alone, I think you could have seen something like this coming. Then Sharon
But they should have more in the cupboard because they're Michigan for when these guys leave. Georgia had 7 guys drafted off their defense, and then they went and won the national championship again.
That is true. And to your Georgia point, Texas is going to make a lot of teams look like this year.
Yes.
Texas is going to embarrass. I had Texas. They were my somewhat preseason pick to win the Southeastern Conference.
Quinn's going to win the Heisman.
Quinn Ewers is going to make a lot of teams look like this. If this doesn't matter, but on Monday, whatever Ohio State does to Western Michigan tonight, if this continues in Ann Arbor, Texas is jumping Ohio State in the AP top 25. Texas is jumping Ohio State in the polls. Now, it doesn't matter. Because if
they would probably be number 1 if it weren't for Georgia playing Clemson. If Georgia had played another nobody last week, Texas could be number 1. I could see that argument. So the jump to 2.
And I feel like, if Ohio State wins out, or if Ohio State wins the Big Ten, they're in the college football playoff 1 or 2 seeds. Similarly with Georgia, similarly with Texas. But it's fun. Actually, is the word I'm going to use. This is Schadenfreude. Yes. We're watching at the expense of the Michigan man. Speaking of number 1, will he be available for the Cincinnati Bengals tomorrow? Sports Saturday on The Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
The meatloaf!
The Fan.
Hey friends, it's Beamer Carp and Shark here from Morning Juice, and guess what? It is NFL week, and FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, has got a special offer to kick us off. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers, not just new FanDuel customers, you can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Bobby, you and I have it. We love it. There's nothing better than the quad box on the Sunday afternoon games.
That quad box, you can watch the Bengals, you can watch the Browns, you can do whatever you like. Get your 4 favorite games, get another TV beside it. You can watch all your Sunday afternoon games. Then with your YouTube TV base plan, you're able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon game. They don't have to be in market. They can be out of market beam, so you can watch the Bears. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment. You can cancel at any time.
Just visit FanDuel.com/juice to download America's #1 sportsbook. You must be 21 and older and present in Ohio. Full price of NFL Sunday Ticket will be automatically charged seasonally after free trial. No refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman here for Germain Honda of Dublin. So what's the difference? There are other Honda dealers around. Well, Rich Newsom and his team want to earn your trust. They don't expect it, and they earn it by giving you a great price, and then they back it up after the sale with same-day service, no appointment necessary, a great variety of brand new Hondas, and hundreds of pre-owned certified Hondas to choose from, all at the same location. Identify yours at GermainHondaofDublin.com. Germain Honda of Dublin, Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
While the world whizzes by, enjoy a moment of me time with Tim Hortons $6 breakfast bundle. Savor a small hot or iced coffee, then add your choice of a mouth-watering hot breakfast sandwich and a crispy golden hash brown and your pick of a classic donut. All for $6, all just for you. Make your mornings all about me time with our $6 breakfast bundle. Available at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. Price and participation vary. Terms apply.
Common Man here for Weed Man. I have the greatest lawn in the neighborhood every single year. And the reason why is water and Weed Man. Good news, I'm only selling you one of them. Fall is the perfect time to improve your lawn for next year. The work you do or don't do now is directly reflected next spring. If you want a beautiful spring lawn, it starts now, not next April. Now through the end of September, mention the promo code Common Man and get a free blanket weed control with the purchase of a full program. For a free quote, go to weedman.com. That's weedman.com.
Bishop and Friends.
Ohio Stadium is the best, period. You're there early. You're there at halftime. Even for the marginal games, you're there.
Bishop and Friends.
Sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan.
This September, Diamonds Direct's ultimate offer is back. Stronger than ever. Diamonds Direct helps you get the perfect jewelry gift with 0% interest. That's right. Enjoy 5 years of 0% financing on any Diamonds Direct purchase. It's your chance to get her the perfect perfect ring with zero interest and comfortable monthly payments that fit your budget. But act fast. This offer ends September 30th. For details and more, visit diamondsdirect.com. Spread your payments over 5 years with zero interest on approved credit. Only at Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Direct auto insurance is for uncompromisers. Like Matt. When his old car insurance got so expensive, do you think he walked until his sneakers wore out? No, because he found savings with Direct Auto so he could drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25% on state minimum coverage, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a free quote at directauto.com or a store near you. Savings vary, terms apply. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
August may seem like the end of summer. It also means the beginning of a lot of things, like back to school, festivals, football. At Buckeye Lake Marina, it means the August savings days are upon us. Get huge discounts on all of the new and used boats that they didn't sell. Every pontoon, tri-toon, sport boats, even fishing boats are ready for you. Save thousands on demo models that have been used all summer to show off amazing features. Some have never even been in the water. Take advantage of the August savings days at Buckeye Lake Marina. Their summer hours continue through the entire month of August. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com for details.
Want to know anything about the fans contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
We firmly believe it's appropriate to tailgate before a youth soccer game. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
All right, so I botched this on Friday. I will not botch it today. 3,577 days it's been since Ohio State has returned a punt for a touchdown. Based off what I saw last week against Akron, I believe that ends today with Brandon Inniss against the Western Michigan Broncos.
Yes, Brandon Inniss does seem to have that combination that you need. One, he has the vision and the wiggle to break those kind of plays once he's in the open field and has the ball. He's willing to catch the punt, doesn't want a fair catch it, wants to catch it, and wants to do returns. He's even willing, as we saw a couple of times in the game, especially that one where it like bounced right over the 20, just grab it on the bounce and not just let it roll and say, well, we didn't get to it. Let's just see how far our offense gets pinned back. So he's giving himself more chances, and he seems adept at it. I agree with you that I think he will get one this year. Will he be good enough to get it today? I'm interested to see if now that the film is out on him, because he even mentioned that it felt like Akron maybe started kicking away from him. How many times does he put a couple of good returns on film, or will it take a touchdown before people start punting away from him? Or is Western Michigan already on the idea of that and going to try to keep it away from Brandon?
It does feel like if you're doing your due diligence as a Western Michigan coaching staff, you're saying, don't punt it to that kid. Punt it away from him. And there's two things with the special teams game we're going to be paying, I think, a lot of attention to tonight between Western Michigan and Ohio State, as Nick McLarty might get the start.
All right.
Might.
For those of you who don't know,
last week he was supposed to get the start.
Nick McLarty.
Is Joe McGuire.
Is a 6'7", 255 pound.
I think they know that.
Australian punter. I don't think everybody knows who Nick. He didn't even punt last week.
People.
Nick McLarty has a giant Australian hammer for a leg.
Hey, now.
He can kick the ball 90-plus yards outside of stadiums, according to a video I saw on Twitter, so I believe it. I want to see the 6'7" Aussie punt for Ohio State.
So we are now invested in the special teams game. And I think they were much...
Special teams wins championships.
They were much improved week one than I thought they were last season. So you really take an Ohio State team, a ton of talent, and... you just make it better, and it factors to be, I wanted to say this at the beginning of the show, now 11 games that you don't take a week for granted. Because the expectations are going to drive people nuts, I think, sometimes. Just to enjoy the football that's in front of you.
Just play this game. You're not winning the national championship today.
You're not doing it on September 7th. September 8th will be the continuation of week one in the NFL. And while Thursday's game between the Chiefs and the Ravens, I think, was important for both, wasn't must-win, obviously. No game up until November will be likely a must-win for any NFL team. I think for the Cincinnati Bengals, tomorrow feels as much of a should win as any game they've got against the New England Patriots that aren't supposed to be good.
Yeah, barring like weird, fluky stuff that you're
That's
like, it's just
win.
one of those games.
8.5-point favorite.
Yeah, they should win that game. I think the Patriots are going to be one of the worst teams in the league this year. And I think they think that because they drafted Drake May and decided to go with Jacoby Brissett. And Jacoby Brissett's a good backup quarterback. He's been serviceable even for the Browns in years past. But if you're truly trying to build something as your first year, the head coach, Gerard Mayo, you're not going with Jacoby Brissett to try to win games. The reports that I've heard and like at least like conjecture from people is that the offensive line is so bad that they don't want to ruin Drake May, which to me says the team's not going to be good at all.
Intelligent from a head coach to how you develop and work with your rookie quarterback.
But it does feel like punting on the season.
Which for some teams, I think this season is a smart move. And I think the Patriots are one of them because I think too often we see with rookie quarterbacks, they go in because they don't have anybody else. All right, try to figure it out. I mean, I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, and that feels like that's happened more with that franchise than it's happened for any NFL franchise, but it always breaks the toy, and you can't ever fix it.
Mm-hmm. So Josh Rosen, Zach Wilson, we've seen it recently for sure. And like the Browns, they probably have the most examples of any team, don't they?
Yes, it's wonderful. It's awful, but wonderful in its awfulness. For the Bengals, though, because I don't really want to talk about Cleveland Browns, whatever. They play at 4:25 against the Cowboys. You hear that game on the fan. We'll have it at 2:30. Sure. T. Higgins all week was saying that it's as good as he's felt, and then Friday lands on the practice or the injury report limited. He was not practicing on Friday. He said,
and the NFL injury report, real, as opposed to the college one, which who knows what it means.
I was trying to find his comments, T. Higgins. Quote, I feel great, I feel amazing. At the end of the day, just ready to go. The best I felt going into week 1. He said that Thursday, didn't practice Friday. How good is that?
Man, they are just like,
how good is that?
This whole last 2 weeks leading up to the season has just been Cincinnati throwing down a smoke bomb and running away, and then everybody just being like, what just happened? Because you got Zach Taylor saying that, oh yeah, Jamar's totally going to be out here at practice last week, and then the next day being like, I may have spoken too soon. You have T. Higgins saying.
I like that, though. He says, I goofed.
It's nice to own up to it.
I do it all the time. Just own it.
But there just have been those smoke screens throughout this last 2 weeks. So I don't know what's going on in Cincinnati, but we have seen Jamar Chase practice in at least a limited capacity over the last couple of days. So is he even available after all of this?
Oh, he's questionable, at least listed on the injury report. I think only because there's questions with the extension that he wants. Again, T. Higgins limited Thursday, did not play Friday, but you expect even without that. So Mike Gesicki, I think was what Paul Dehner Jr., who writes for the Bengals for The Athletic, was saying, he'll get an expanded role. But they've got number 9. And if you've got number 9, all things are fine. I think that's Cincinnati's mantra. Mm-hmm. With T. Higgins, whatever. With Jamar Chase, you think that'll get figured out. But Joe Burrow is the thing that can fix it all.
And he's healthy.
He's healthy.
Coming out of a normal training camp. It was not COVID restricted. He was not dealing with coming back from an injury. He just got to do camp. No calf injury, over the wrist injury. His knees are fine. Joe Burrow is here. And when the seasons go through that the Bengals finish with him, they've played in the Super Bowl and the AFC Championship.
And week 2 is here. Ohio State, Western Michigan, 7:30. The Boot will meet the ball at Ohio Stadium. We'll get network pregame at 6 o'clock. You get the pregame, or the tailgate show, from 4 to 6. Right now, we go live to the campus of the Ohio State University. Matty Ice, Dane Senzenbacher, Devere Posey, the pregame show. Next week's a bye, but we will talk to you then on The Fan.
The 2 most mature people working at the radio station. And that's just because they wear pants. The pervert and the skivvies. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan.
Hey friends, Brandon Beam here for Truehold. Home values in the city, well, they're sky high. We know that. You have a ton of equity. Your financial advisor thinks the market is peaked. So if you're thinking about selling, it's the right time. Except for 2 things. High interest rates are going to burn you on a new home loan, and you're not ready to move. Savvy financial advisors suggest Truehold's new Sell and Stay program. It's ingenious because they buy your home now while its value is high, but you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Pretty smart, right? Truehold is going to make you a solid cash offer, not a lowball offer like the others, and it's based on your home's current value. The cash is yours to travel, pay off bills, secure your retirement, and do whatever you want with it. It's your cash. And again, you can stay in your home with a comfortable lease. Truehold covers property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. See how much Truehold will pay for your home today. Call 1-855-3 $399.93 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. Again, that's Truehold.com.
And what is it called?
A ceiling fan.
And where is it?
It's on the floor.
And why is that a problem?
Well, see, the person who named it probably should have called it a that's not right. The guy on TV I saw put up a ceiling fan.
Are you a TV star, Paul?
No, I'm not.
Are you an electrician, Paul?
I am not.
You are?
I am a middle management accountant, and I shouldn't be putting up ceiling fans.
You should.
Call the pros who knows.
Apex Pros.
The pros who know electrical work too. Hi, it's Alex from Apex Pros. And if you liked us for plumbing, cooling, and heating, you're gonna love our pro electricians.
Apex Pros are on the way.
Much easier, isn't it?
I'm glad we sorted this out.
Me too.
Columbus loves the pros who knows. Schedule with one click at apexpros.com.
My name is Brennan Ward. I'm a football player. It was just an average warm-up before a game. All of a sudden, I felt my knee move out of place, and I fell to the ground. Me and my mom went to orthopedic one. The doctor said there's a possibility that I might need surgery, but he also said I might be able to finish the season. I think I knew I wanted to get surgery just because I wanted to get as healthy as I can for the long run. Really happy with how it went. I'm really excited about the college it chose and excited to get there and start playing. I just think everything plays out like how it should. Orthopedic one got me back on the field doing what I love.
Picture this, the perfect summer barbecue. No stress, no responsibilities, just all your friends, burgers and hot dogs on the grill, and a delicious, refreshing Pepsi Zero Sugar in your hand. Sounds nice, doesn't it? Burgers sizzling, hot dogs cooking, Pepsi Zero Sugar fizzing, and a backyard of very, very happy people. Oh yeah, we could get used to this. Very, very used to this. Pepsi, the official beverage of Grills Night Out.
Save big money at Menards. Never get locked out from lost keys again. Menards carries a huge selection of electronic lock sets. Get a TrueBolt touchscreen deadbolt that features one-touch locking and 50 programmable user codes. Available in matte black or satin nickel finishes, on sale now through September 8th at Menards. America's #1 home improvement retailer for customer satisfaction, according to J.D. Power. Visit jdpower.com for details and menards.com for deals.
Save big